Are you new to Escape from Tarkov and have no idea what the heck to do with all these different medical items? Well, this is going to be the episode for you. So stay tuned for the adventure. Are you ready? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to my guide on the medical items of Escape from Tarkov. Now, if you are first starting in Escape from Tarkov, you're probably noticing there is a lot of items that you can use to heal, and it's well, it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to figure out what exactly you are doing, and hopefully this video will be able to help you out just a tiny bit to make your adventures in Escape from Tarkov just a little bit easier. Because looking at this, it's a lot. I can understand. So we're going to go over the basics. We're going to go over bandages, painkillers. We're going to go over just standard healing items and different things to help you along on your adventures. And we're going to start off with just a few things, and that's going to be mainly your healing items. Now, you've got pretty much 4 main healing items. You do have a 5th, which we'll go into more information later on, but you've got your AI2, you've got your IFAC, you got your car med kit, and you've got your Salewa. All 4 of these are going to have different things that they're going to do as far as healing, different ways they're going to be able to heal different bleeds, and as far as how much they actually last. So I want to go just a little bit in depth with those. And there's going to be pretty much your chart of healing, which is going to be affected by all this. So we'll keep this menu up so it's a little bit easier for you to understand what this will do. Now you've got your AI2, which is also known as the piece of cheese. This thing has 100 health that you can use on any of your limbs. It takes 2 seconds to use. It does say it removes radiation exposure, but as of right now, because there's no radiation exposure in Tarkov, we're not going to worry about that part. We're only going to worry about the HP resource. Every time that you use it, it's going to go down just a little bit. Different ways you can use it. You can obviously just drag and drop to any of these different body parts, but to make your life a lot easier, I always suggest make these as a keybind. It's very, very simple to do. You just hover over the item. You can do this keybind from 4 all the way to, I believe it's, I think it's 9 or 0. That's what it is, 0. So, you know, I usually set my main healing item as 4. So if I get hurt, an example, if we fall off here, we're gonna get hurt and things are gonna break. In a situation like this, you're gonna need some few items to help out to stop the bleeding and whatnot. And this is where your painkillers are going to come into hand. So anytime you see this little symbol, it looks like little blood drops. That's going to be your light bleed. That means it's not going to be the heaviest bleed. You're not going to bleed out as fast, but it's definitely going to hinder you if you do not take care of the situation immediately, basically. You got a couple different ways to fix that. You have your bandage. You have your, I think it's the army bandage, which has 2 uses versus 1. Pretty self-explanatory. It has 2 uses on this one, takes 2 seconds to use, and it stops a light bleed. So if you have a light bleed like this, bandage 1 or bandage 2 will fix that. So before we end up, dying because of our bleed, let's fix that problem with a simple bandage like that, and it will heal that up. And again, you can easily do this by selecting different points, and it will all be put onto your hotbar down below. Now, you've got a few things that happen, especially if you fall from a long distance. You're going to have broken legs, you're going to have missing health, and you're most likely going to have some type of pain involved with that. Unfortunately, we didn't get the fracture like I was hoping so I can't show you that just yet. We're going to go over a couple of things. Like I said, with the AI2 or piece of cheese, you simply take it, drag it over to the point, the animation happens, and it heals it up. You only use 10 points, so you now got 90 out of 100. That's how it works. Easiest way to do it. Now, the other way you can also take care of a light bleed is by using, say, like a car med kit, or using an IFAC, or even a Salewa. All 3 of these will use that animation to actually heal up your body parts and also stop that bleeding. So it's got multi-use in that. You can definitely do that. The other type that can happen is called a heavy bleed. Now, heavy bleeds are going, well, self-explanatory. You bleed out a lot faster, so you need to fix that immediately. The only way that you're gonna be able to do that with an actual medical item that heals you at the same time, well, there's 2 of them. You've got your Salewa and the big boy here, the Grizzly. These are your 2 main ones. They're gonna stop heavy bleeds and also heal you at the same time. Does take a little bit extra time. Salewa takes 3 seconds, but it does stop your heavy bleeds and also your light bleeds. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves. We're just going to go back to, again, AI2 is going to heal up to 100 health, and your card med kit's going to do 220. Your IFAC is going to do 300, and your Sailor is going to do 400. So they all have their certain duration. Once those are gone, basically the item disappears and you can't use it anymore. So just keep an eye on that. If you're running low on, you may want to either bring some extra, put it in your pouch, or just carry an extra one inside your rig, or you have to look for one. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Again, all these are going to have some type of animation. IFAC's going to have one. And they all have their certain sounds too. So if you're in an immediate fight, just keep in mind you may get kind of exposed if you are using certain medical items, because people will be able to hear that sound. That's something to also keep in mind, but that'll be for another video as far as like listening for certain sounds. That's pretty much all you've got. You've got the 4 main healing items there. Again, we were talking about a 5th one, which is the Grizzly, but the Grizzly has way more things that it does than just heal you. It fixes any fractures you may have. It, again, reduces any of this radiation stuff, which again is not in Tarkov, so you don't have to worry about that too much. And also removes contusions. So if like say you've got some type of, let's say you get a fracture, you use that, it'll get rid of that effect of that contusion. Also heals your heavy bleeds, your light bleeds, but it does take 5 seconds, so it is a longer heal. So I would recommend, if you're going to use this, use it outside of a fight, because it's going to take a very, very, very long time. Now, a nice thing about having these blacked out limbs, I can show you something right away. You'll notice that we can now run. We are currently in a walk status, which means, hey, your legs are completely broken or blacked out, and you cannot run. So when your legs are blacked out, this will happen. You will be in a consistent walk unless you A, fix them, or B, use some type of painkillers, which we're going to get into now, which is the painkiller side. We're going to get down to fixing the legs in just a moment. But we've got 6 different types of painkillers. There are some more. There's some more stems, but we're going to get that into a more later advanced healing medical item guide. So I'm just going to start with just the basics, so that way it's a lot easier for you to understand what's going on. We're going to go in just the order of all of them. You've got your standard painkiller with 4 uses. It's going to remove your pain for just 80 seconds. It takes 3 seconds to use, but you do lose hydration. So keep that in mind. Every time you pop one of these pills, your hydration will get lowered down every time. So if you're going to use a lot of these, just keep an eye out when you're out in the raid. Use different water, different ways to get hydration, because it's definitely going to really lower your hydration. If that goes too low, you're going to lose health, and it's going to be a big issue. Morphine's going to be your second choice you can use. This is something that I don't typically use, but if it's like in a dire case where you have it, just use it. You might as well. It's going to be right there. Just use it as much as you can. It's going to remove pain for 300 seconds, which is going to allow you to run. It does take down your energy about 10%, and then also you're going to lose 13 hydration at this time. But it's the fastest way to get your pain removed, which is 2 seconds. The fastest way to do it. It's just very simple. It's just, for me, I set it to a hotbar, boom, you're off and running. Now, keep in mind though, even though you are running and you can run, you are going to lose health, because when having those broken limbs, you do start slowly losing health because you're technically still in pain. And anytime you want to know whether or not you're actually on a painkiller, if say your legs are not broken, this little symbol will appear, which will say on painkillers. That's the easiest way, and it has a timer that tells you exactly how long it takes. Moving on down from that list, we have the other 2. These ones are going to be your Vaseline, and it's also going to be your Golden Star. These ones do take a little bit longer to use. The Vaseline, honestly, if you're going to go with something that's going to treat pain, I honestly wouldn't go with Vaseline as much as like a Golden Star balm. Now keep in mind, Golden Star does cost a lot more usually on the flea market than a Vaseline will, so that is something to also take into account. The other, I guess a little advantage of doing the Vaseline is it doesn't take as much energy when you use it, but overall the Golden Star is going to be way more effective than actual Vaseline. It only takes away pain for 300 seconds. It takes 6 seconds to actually apply, so it takes longer than your normal, say, like morphine injector or doing your painkillers. So it's one of those options where it's got 10 uses, but so does the Golden Star. So you might as well just get rid of this guy and use a Golden Star because of the other effects as it does. It doesn't, not only does it increase the time that pain is removed, which goes up to 400 seconds versus 300 seconds, it also Gives you 5%, or I think it's 5-second energy recovery and hydration recovery for 5 seconds. So you get +5 on each of those stats every time you use it. So if you're also low on water or energy, it does help out a little bit. It's not the most, but it definitely is going to help you out. And again, it does take 7 seconds, but the amount of effects you get from it outweighs the time that it takes to actually use it. A lot of people use this, they'll pop it right at the beginning of the raid because there's a chance of running into players real fast. So depending on what map you're on, so it's a good thing to obviously pop it beforehand. And then if you're in the middle of a fight, it's a nice thing to pop as well because it's going to last you for a longer duration of time. And then we have your ibuprofen and we have your augmentin antibiotic pills. These two are pretty drastically different. The augmentin has a single use, but it only takes 5 seconds to use, and it only takes away your pain for 150 seconds. Now, this is kind of one of those items where, hey, if you're running into it, you might as well pop it real quick. That way you've got some type of thing that's going to help you out. It does not remove any energy or water. That's what the nice thing of this is. So if you're low on water or energy, but you still need painkillers, maybe pop one of these while you're in raid. That's about all I would ever use this thing for. Typically, I don't even use it because it's just a single use and it's like morphine, but not as good as morphine. Ibuprofen, again, the opposite side, it does have a 12 use to it. It has 280 seconds to remove pain. Takes 5 seconds to use, but you do lose 15 hydration, and it also removes a contusion. So keep in mind, again, you're losing hydration. So that's another thing that's going to affect you. But again, just have water on you or find some water. You'll fix that problem. No issue at all there. And that pretty much covers all the painkillers. That's all you're going to really need to know about that. The typical ones that I would usually carry on with me, a golden star. If I have the space, I'll put it down below in the alpha pouch, or it could be alpha, it could be gamma, whatever you have. I'll stick it in there and use it at the beginning of the raid, and then I'll go on beyond my day. Painkillers, obviously, I'll have somewhere in the slots here, and I'll be using it as my main way to stop pain. And if I have an ibuprofen, I'll use it once in a while if I've got it available to me, but I typically stick with the 4 slot. Okay, since I cannot for some reason get a fracture, so I'm gonna have to probably have someone shoot me in the arm or something. But we're gonna talk about the splint and the 2 splint ones that you have. Immobilizing splint, and you've got your other immobilizing splint. The one that looks like this is going to be a single use. It will remove a fracture. Again, I'll have the fracture symbol somewhere on the screen right now, so you know exactly what it looks like. This is gonna be a single use that will help fix that problem on your body part. But just keep in mind, once you use it, it's gone. You have no other uses of that. The other one is going to be the mobilizing split here, which is going to give you 5 uses. Takes 3 seconds to apply. It's really nice. If you can afford this, I would suggest using this over the other splint, just because, again, obviously it's 5 uses versus 1. It's more effective to bring this, especially as it's just a single slot item. Very, very important to, you have the ability to buy this, use this. It's much, much better. On top of that, that's about the only 2 things that has to do with splints other than the Grizzly. Again, we're going to go more in depth about the Grizzly because this has way more uses than just healing and all that. So we'll go over that in just a moment. But as you can see, we have 2 broken legs. And the next thing we're going to talk about is actually fixing blacked out body parts. Now, there are a few that you cannot fix, and we're going to go over that before actually talking about the legs. 2 body parts that you cannot fix if they are blacked out are the head and the thorax. Once your head or thorax are out, you pretty much, if you get shot in that body part once, you're gone. So I would suggest, if that ever happens, you get into the middle of a gunfight, they hit you so much that one of those body parts gets blacked out, just get out of the raid, because if you're most likely going to die if a feather hits you, basically. So just keep that in mind. There's 2 different ways that you can fix broken body parts. It's with a CMS kit or with a Serve 12. They do have 2 different things that will actually fix that. Again, 2 different ways. We got these 2 here, and we're going to go over what they do. It takes 16 seconds to actually use the CMS kit, and it will actually only fix half of the actual amount that the body parts were. So right now it's 65, 0 out of 65. Once you heal that, it will actually only heal it up to about 32. So it's only going to heal you half what that body part was before. On the other side of that, the Serve 12 is a lot better. For one, it only takes 20 seconds, so it's only 4 seconds longer, but it's going to only bring it down, I believe it's only 10 points versus 30 plus points. So it's a much better item to have. It does take up 3 slots versus 2. So if you are running an alpha container, that's the only bad downturn is you're not going to be able to actually fit that in there. You got to put in your backpack. So I would probably hold off on that one, obviously, until you get like the Epsilon. If you have a gamma container, obviously you can use it. Or if you get the Kappa container, those are when you can start using the Serve 12. But obviously, until then, you'll be stuck with a CMS kit like I am during my challenge right now on my Ride to Riches challenge. So that's going to be what you're going to be looking for. Also, the benefit of using the Serve 12, just like the Splints here, if you say you've got a fracture and also a blacked out leg or any other body part other than the thorax and the head, this applies again to the arm, the right arm, and also the stomach. It will fix the fracture and it'll also fix the body part. Now, we'll just do a quick test so you can see what they look like. This is with the CMS kit. Again, they're all going to have animations. And keep in mind too, with all these animations, whether it's a splint, healing an item, painkiller, CMS kit, all this stuff can be interrupted too. You don't actually have to fully go through it. So if you've got, say, like a player coming around the corner, just start spamming your left click and that will stop the animation. The other ones here is a Serve 12, so we'll get this going. Oh, sorry, 29. Sorry, it's gonna get a 29 on that. Get the left leg fixed. Again, it's gonna take a little bit longer for this one, but it's much more beneficial than the actual CMS kit. And you'll see why in a second. And again, these things can be actually upgraded as far as like what they'll heal by working on the medical skill. So that's something to also keep in mind. And that's going to bring you to 52. So it doesn't take as much out, so you can actually heal and have more health towards that body part. And keep in mind again, your medical and also your surgery skill, which is located somewhere in this tab, which I cannot find right now. There it is, surgery tab. This is going to obviously decrease the speeds by 60%. But again, this once you get this through a certain level, you don't actually lose any type of healing. So this will stay at a strict 65. This will stay at 60. Well, with using the Serve 12. It's a very nice kit, but that's farther down the road after getting the surgery kit skill a lot higher. Another thing to keep in mind also, after you've healed up or those blacked out limbs, make sure that you do heal them up. Again, you can do this in multiple ways. You can just honestly have it hot bar to yourself and you can just heal up this way. Otherwise, it's because it's going to prioritize the lowest item like this, because this is a priority item because it's so low level, sorry, it's lowest health. It's going to prioritize this first. Again, you can also just take actually you used to click this. You can just click the right, actually no, sorry, you have to drag it to the right leg and it will heal it up. So that's going to help out, obviously. So that's going to heal it up, because if you don't do that and you start running around with that blacked out limb just being repaired, it's only got a single health. So there is a chance that when that happens, you're going to lose that limb again. And that's just not going to be fun to lose something you just healed up. We are going to jump off this because I want to show, hopefully show the heavy bleed. Whether it actually show up or not, I do not know. Okay, it's going to only give me light bleeds for now, which it is what it is. Again, we have 2 different ways that we can heal this up. I'm just going to use our card med kit just to give you kind of an example. So hit 4 for your card med kit. It's going to heal one of these bleeds. It's going to heal the one there. Again, you can also use the army bandage for the other one. That'll heal one of them. I typically will bring a army bandage with me, because if I'm in a quick gunfight and I don't want to actually get out of the fight so fast, because I feel like if they're still going on, but you need to stop those bleeds, it's nice to have it because it's very, very fast to actually fix that bleed. 2 seconds, boom, you're not bleeding anymore. You can continue fighting, versus having to heal up, say with like the card med kit that takes an extra second. It's not much more, but again, every second counts in a gunfight. We're just going to go over the different bleeds, and again, I'll have the symbol somewhere on the screen so you know exactly what it looks like. But we have 2 different options as well to stop your heavy bleeds that are not going to involve a medical item to actually heal it up. You've got your S March, which is going to be a simple 5-second that's going to stop any heavy bleed. It's a single use though, so keep in mind, once you've used it, it's gone. You have no more uses of it. The Calic is going to have 3 uses. It's a 3-second use. It's basically a little stem that sticks to your arm. You press it down, boom, it's going to stop the heavy bleed, and you're ready to go back into the fight. Again, prioritize those heavy bleeds because they're no joke. If you don't focus on that, you will bleed out real fast, or you're going to lose too much health, and then going back into the fight is going to be a really, really, really bad idea. Now, a very useful item to heal you back up within a good amount of duration, about 300 seconds, is going to be the Propital. Now, this is a very, very nice item because not only does it increase your regeneration of health, but it also is going to give you a boost in your skills of metabolism, vitality, and healing. So, or health. So basically for the next 300 seconds, it's going to give you a plus 20 boost to all three of those skills, which means it's going to help you out, heal you faster, and all the other amazing little boosts that you get for vitality and also metabolism skill. The only downside of this one is once it is gone through its 270-second delay, it's going to apply a tunnel effect, which basically is going to be a big wafting little. Well, we'll show you basically, so because we're going to take it right now. We're actually going to pop this and use it because we need to use it, get some healing going. But once that duration has gone down after the 300 seconds, you're going to get a 30-second tunnel vision basically, and then you're also going to get hand tremors, so your hands are not going to be as stable as usual. So just keep that in mind of using this. But for 300 seconds, you're going to get 300 health. It's a very, very nice item. It's going to slowly tick you up so you continually can move through the fight or through the map, and you're going to get consistent healing. There's another one that you can use, but again, I'm going to put that into the advanced healing in another video. And the last item we're going to talk about for this medical beginner's guide episode, we're going to talk about the Grizzly. Now, the Grizzly is again, fantastic item. I would suggest carrying this with you, especially now with all the different things that are in Tarkov as far as what can hurt you. It's a very nice item to always have if you can fit it. Again, if you have room inside of your gamma container, your kappa container, or even your epsilon container, this is an item nice to have because it's going to remove contusions, it's going to stop radiation once that's added in, it's going to remove fractures, it's going to stop heavy bleeds, light bleeds. It is only a 5-second use, so it's going to take care of all of it. It's got an 1800 HP resource, so it's going to last a very, very long time. Again, I would usually suggest using this outside of combat, but if you really had to, you could while during a fight, just for the keepsake of stopping all these different effects that's going on with your body. That's basically what it's all about. It's just everything. It's got splints, it's got your heavy bleed protector, it's got a painkiller, sorry, not a painkiller. It's got your healing ability inside that. It's got a lot of items that are super, super helpful along your way in your raid. So again, if you have the ability to buy this and you have something that's not just an alpha container, because I feel like this is just a waste of space, definitely maybe put that into your arrangement. That's going to help you out. And for those that are actually curious on the actual setup that I bring in with me on a typical raid, this is what I would usually bring. I bring in a Salawat, which is going to heal my heavy bleeds. It's also going to heal me the most because it's got 400 use. It is a 2-slaughter, but it is overall the best healing aid that you can actually use. I also will use the normal painkillers, the 4 out of 4. I'll bring in an armory medical bandage, and also I'll bring in the colics because that's going to have a 3 use to stop heavy bleeds, especially if I don't want to waste my my healing. Down below, I'll typically have the CMS inside there. And then there's 2 different types. I'll do this depending on if I'm working on a quest. If I'm working on a quest with my alpha, I will remove these 2, and I will also put in my docs case. So these typically would not be in there. It would be replaced by the docs case. But if I'm not, I'm just going for loot. CMS obviously to fix any type of blacked out limbs. To fix any fractures, I'll bring the splints, and also for the golden star. If my stomach is shot out and I'm out of CMS, this will definitely help you get through the raid, and it's just a really nice painkiller overall, especially if I run out of my painkillers themselves. Again, bandages I use again if I'm in the middle of a fight and I need to stop a quick light bleed. Boom, hit number 6 and it's good to go. This is my typical setup that I will do myself. Everyone else probably has got their own type of setup that they'll do. Some people will actually bring in a AI2 or the piece of cheese. It's just a small, quick, easy heal on an item, so they're not wasting their Salwa. You can mix it up to whatever you feel like is best. But for myself, this is what I will typically bring out. Again, if you've got a gamma container or you've got a kappa or an epsilon, you can do different varieties in that as well. Obviously, you can replace the CMS with the Serve 12. You can put a Grizzly in there. You can add in more items like this. You have a lot more options. So I'm basically looking at people that are buying the standard account of the game. They have never played it. They're not really sure what to do. They're not sure what to use in that alpha container. This is what I basically would always do on my runs with the alpha container. And basically just keep in mind as well, It's very simple. If you find an item that you really like, say like a Bitcoin, don't be afraid to throw this out and put a Bitcoin in there, because obviously with the splint only costing typically like 13 to 15k rubles, you can easily rebuy that with, say, like selling the Bitcoin easily, especially so since it's worth like 500k at the time of this recording. The same thing with the golden star. I know it's going to cost you like 40k, but overall you're gonna get way more money back for actually saving those items. So just little tips here and there to remember on that one. And I always keep usually these 3 items in here because, hey, they're multiple uses. I don't want to die with them on me because they do cost a little bit extra, and they're just nice because I can consistently bring them into a raid every single time. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be my beginner's guide on all of the medical items in Escape from Tarkov, at least the beginning items. We will get into a much more advanced set in a future upcoming video, but I do hope this did help you. If it did, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below about what you didn't know before and what you learned today in this video. Also, if you're new to the channel, you're excited to see more content like this, which will help you out in your adventures of Escape from Tarkov while you're still learning it. We're going to have many other guides. It's going to be including also, obviously, the advanced medical items. We're going to go through different body armors, different weapons, and different type of bullets. There's a lot more things coming up, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button because we have a lot more content coming in the future. Also, if you really like let's plays of type of games like this, check out my channel because we have 2 other series going on at the same time. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next one.